All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to talk about Monster Hunter Wilds. Now, Monster Hunter Wilds is a video game that a lot of people have been looking forward to, myself included. I've been super excited to boot up this game, and at the time of filming this video, I will be playing this game live on Grivcast at 5 p.m. Eastern after this video is done filming. Now, here's the most amazing thing about this game. We all knew that it was going to be successful. This game had almost 500,000 concurrent players just on the beta alone, and we knew that the game was going to be a smash hit. However, there was a lot of complaints about performance. There was a lot of complaints about optimization. People were complaining like crazy during the beta, and they were feeling as if their feedback was being ignored. Well, unfortunately, it looks like we have confirmation that that's exactly what happened. Monster Hunter Wilds, even though it's released to a smashing success, and people obviously are playing this game in mass, it looks like there is a multitude of bad reviews. We're looking at almost a 60-40% ratio of bad reviews about optimization. So let's get into this video, guys. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, Capcom is known for having these issues. I believe Dragon's Dogma 2 had the same exact issue because the Resident Evil engine, unfortunately, struggles with open world areas. That's just a known thing that has been happening with that particular engine. It looks like Capcom is just either refusing or doesn't know how to really help the engine be better at open world scenarios like it is with Monster Hunter Wilds. Now, before we get into that, I want to go over the numbers really quick, which admittingly are absolutely insane. You guys can see here, I'll refresh it just to make sure. So you guys can see here the game had an all-time peak 2 hours ago of 1,307,976 players. That's absolutely insane. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I believe I estimated about 1 million players. I thought it was going to be about half of Black Myth Wukong. So I was about 300,000 off from my estimate, which is a large amount to be off. So I was indeed wrong about the estimate. It was much higher than that. So people are buying this game in mass. But one thing I noticed that was very interesting that I wanted to showcase, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are hearing about this right now, is this right here. A 41.66% dislike to like ratio percentage at 11,000 reviews total. So almost 60% of the people are giving this game a negative review. How is that, right? This is such a smashing hit. I have an article here from Kotaku that says Monster Hunter Wilds explodes on Steam despite terrible user reviews. This is the same headline that essentially every single mainstream media website is using right now. If you guys were to Google Monster Hunter Wilds and look up the news, you'll realize that every single one of them are saying this, right? They cannot wait to talk about how bad the reviews are from Monster Hunter Wilds, because let's be real, websites like Kotaku, they don't exactly like Monster Hunter Wilds for obvious reasons that's showcased here on screen. You know, they don't have the typical they, thems, or whatever the case would be that Kotaku seems to look for when it comes to their character creators. So they don't exactly like Eastern games like this, but at the end of the day, they can't deny that it is a smashing success. There's no doubt about it. But the reviews are terrible. So I have Monster Hunter Wilds pulled up here, and I want to go over the actual reviews on Steam to see what they're saying and get a feeling of what's actually happening here. There are some positive reviews, of course. Most of them seem to be jokey, though, which you're going to see in a second. And a lot of the negative reviews seem to be the serious ones going over performance. So we got this this review right here. It's obviously a joke review. Lots of engagement. It says, very immersive game. You can cook a well-done steak on your GPU while you play, and the hot blast of air from your PC fans truly make you feel like you're in the desert. Keep a bag of sand by your desk and periodically toss handfuls of it into the air to really complete the experience. So the person obviously gave the game a positive review, but is trolling the game and talking about how the optimization is so terrible that your GPU is going to go through the roof, right? Now we got some bad reviews. This game is everything wrong with PC optimization in 2025. Again, Capcom is known for this, which is unfortunate, and you would have hoped that they would fix it by now, but they just don't seem interested in doing that, which is really unfortunate because, again, you must realize that there is a massive PC market out there that is dominating numbers right now. You must realize that, sure, as a company that used to focus on consoles, perhaps you should give a little bit more attention, a little bit more research, a little bit more development into PC ports, because if you are not, you are going to alienate this massive market that you have now tapped into, especially since a lot of it's coming from China as well. You're going to miss out. You really are going to leave a bad taste in people's mouth, which is evident saddened by all the reviews that this game is currently experiencing. That is not a small number to scoff at. 1.3 million, that number is going to go up. I hope you guys realize that. Once the weekend hits, that number is going to go way up. Anyway, this game is absolutely amazing, but it has the worst optimization I've ever seen. That's pretty much the sentiment from a lot of people. I understand that new games are becoming more demanding, and people are expected to upgrade, but this is absurd. I'm aware this isn't the first instance of new games having poor performance on launch, because the same thing happened with World, but it feels inexcusable at this point. It really is. I feel like it was inexcusable years ago, right? The fact that people are letting developers get away with literal murder at this point when it comes to PC gaming or gaming in general and optimization, they have the mindset of, oh, we'll fix it later. We'll fix it later. People buy it now, we'll fix it later. That should never have been a mindset. That mindset came at the behest of the internet age, where when these games became online, it allowed these developers to get lazier and lazier and lazier, because it allowed them to do things after the fact that they weren't able to do before. They had to release a good product at the beginning, otherwise they would, run into big issues. Now with the day of the internet, you can just say, oh, I'll patch it, I'll fix it later, don't worry about it. It's stupid. It really is stupid. And again, this person reiterates, I'm no means saying this game is bad, but in its current state, you should probably consider waiting for more stable release. And I would probably agree with that. I haven't tried out the game yet. I'm going to try it out myself, but I'm a little bit unfair. My computer has a 4090, and I understand not everybody has a 4090. And if you're having issues and you don't have a 4090 and people with a 4090 are not having issues, that doesn't invalidate the people who don't have 4090s. You shouldn't need a 4090 in order to play a game on PC, right? It's ridiculous. Unless you're going for max settings, 4K, whatever, you shouldn't need one. And that's the entire point of this. So I don't understand the people out there that are, I guess, having like an elitist mindset because they have 4090s and they're like, well, I'm not having issues, so that clearly means it's not happening. That's ridiculous, man. I see people do that all the time with a lot of video games, and then when I talk about issues with popular video games like Civilization, for example, I get all the shills in my comments. They come crazy and they're like, oh, well, I don't have any problems, so you're just drumming up like drama and rage bait and whatnot. I'm like, dude, there's other people that are having lots of issues and they deserve to have their voices heard. Maybe don't be such elitist at this point in time. Anyway, Capcom, please auto-collect the bug reports that you spent over 5 minutes generating. I beg of thee. Manually emailing off bug reports is ancient tech. Looks like the game is getting confused when it's forcing full screen on widescreen monitors. The crash report kicks up going full screen, and then the game starts loading. Unfortunately, the game thinks it's crashed after the crash tool has collected its log. The game closes itself even though it's now loading. Hopefully, changing out a full screen fixes this. Another one. How does the game manage to run perfectly fine in the open beta and I receive an excellent rating score on the benchmark, but the actual product that costs actual money runs like absolute sludge? I legit never encountered a game that's wasn't as worse playable. I have never seen a game run this poorly while still looking this bad. I'm also hearing the graphics are not that good in this game compared to what they look like in the trailers, but again, I haven't played it. Maybe it's people that don't have a crazy rig. I don't know. I'm going to check it out myself, but I'm hearing that a lot as well. It says absolutely atrocious performance for how the game looks. Runs even worse than the beta. For reference, I could run the beta at a comfortable 60 to 70 on high, usually higher than that. Now I'm running at less than 50 on medium with noticeable dips. The game does not look nearly as good to warrant this performance. Everything is covered in a grimy texture with assets that look like you straight took them out of a PS3 game. If I could run Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and Cyberpunk on max settings comfortably, then there is no reason this game should be running like this. Well, again, keep in mind, Cyberpunk released absolute garbage as well. Just keep that in mind. You might be able to run it on max settings now, no problem, but that wasn't the case for a lot of people when the game came out, so let's not forget history here. Anyway, embarrassing. Wait for a sale or optimization updates. I played games on my deck that looked better than this. When I was a kid, I couldn't believe how good Monster Hunter looked on my PSP. An entire world in my hands, and now they release a game like this. It saddens me, the mediocrity that Capcom has fallen into. But what do I know? Maybe I'm just a little silly Billy, and my 4070 toaster is just outdated at this point. Guess I'll go back to playing better looking games on Ultra. Again, if you need a 4090 to play this game, then it is a failed game, in my opinion. You should not require the top tier rig in order for you to enjoy the game. Maybe you can require one to have it at maximum settings, like unbelievable settings. That's something different. But to enjoy the game at a decent fidelity, you shouldn't need a 4090 to do that. And if you do, then you obviously failed at optimization. I have to agree with that. This game is a solid 10 frames per second on Steam Deck. Damn, if you close your eyes, it looks nice. Steam Deck, terrified, check mark. And again, he gave him a positive anyway. Monster Hunter World, too much handler. Monster Hunter Rise, no handler. Monster Hunter Wilds, wait, she was kind of cute though. Monster Hunter Wilds, I'm ready. The Resident Evil engine is definitely not ready though. Don't worry, even though it looks bad, at least it runs poorly. Try to brute force Resident Evil engine into open world games, clearly just does not work. And again, Resident Evil engine has been known for having issues when used in open world games. It hasn't been done very much, but the games that it has been done in, it's been a problem. And this is just another one to add to that list. So I understand Capcom wants to utilize their own internal engine for whatever that reason may be, lower cost, whatever, developer, whatever that may be. It doesn't matter. But if you're going to do that, you better be able to bring it with that engine. And unfortunately, it looks like with Monster Hunter Wilds, they got a lot of work to do. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.